Hi, the date is the 17th of May, 2026, and today I was feeling really bummed out. I didn't want to go to the gym, and I was going off of the belief, I tried willpower. Willpower didn't work for me, and so I tried to build habits and systems. And so I was like, okay, I'm not feeling good, so I'm not going to force myself to go. I'm going to wait till tomorrow till I'm feeling better. But then I kind of learned this new concept where I then just pulled up YouTube and started watching YouTube, and I saw this really motivational video, and I was like, hey, this is really like, I felt like really good. And hey, these is some really good points. I feel motivated. And I was like, okay, I feel motivated enough to go to the gym. We're going to the gym. And then I went to the gym, and as I'm working out, I start, feeling a lot better. And then I start getting more stuff done later on. And I end up going to the beach and going for a cold water swim in winter and a bunch of other stuff. And so now there's this new concept I have that instead of solely focusing on building habits and systems, you're still waiting for the motivation. You're building a habit and a system on getting that motivation and keeping that motivation, but you're still relying on that motivation. And instead of relying on solely on motivation or solely on willpower or solely on your environment and your habits, what you can do is you can rewire your brain chemistry. So if you need to release like when I was watching YouTube, I got that dopamine hit, which gave me the motivation, and that was kind of the rewiring in my brain. And then I wouldn't say rewiring, but kind of just using my brain chemistry to my advantage. And then at the gym, when I was working out, I think it released dopamine and serotonin, and then I felt motivated to go do other stuff. So I think if I had just used willpower, if I had just, been like, go and do it to do all that other stuff, it would have felt pretty rubbish. And if I had just waited for dopamine, then it would have taken till tomorrow to do all this stuff. But I didn't know that there was a third option where you could actually start small and put yourself in a position where you feel better. So a really good book, I was reading a really good book about serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, and a lot about how all the brain chemicals work. And it's actually got some really good points, because if our decisions are based on how we feel at the time, because very little of our decisions are actually based on our logic, our decisions are mostly based on how we feel with I don't want to say like a messed up kind of logic or a delusional kind of logic, but the logic is very influenced by how we feel. And if only there was a way to control how you feel, which obviously you can't control it, but you can influence it with these things. And you can learn different strategies to kind of regulate that mental, emotional kind of state on how you're feeling. And then you can use that to obviously change it when it's not going as well. Which is what I've noticed. I was watching YouTube and doing a lot of short-term dopamine for a while, and then I decided to, cut it off and then switch over to not doing any of it to try and recover from that, but that would take a lot of time. So between now and then, when I have to do things like go to the gym, I feel very unmotivated because I'm still coming off of that dopamine hike. But what I've realized is if I do things like start getting specific things done that make me feel good, if I eat food and and drink water enough and maybe go for a swim, then I start feeling so much better and more motivated to do those things. But yeah. And the harder it is, I think it's harder based on the less habits you have already that you can start building off of. But again, I feel like there is a time and a place for willpower, and I think that's one of those times and places. But yeah. And yeah, I just really wanted to make a video talking about that kind of new idea. Because I personally thought there was only two ways. I thought, you could build systems and have habits and just follow those and compound over time, or rely on compounding over time, or have willpower and force yourself to do it till you build those habits or till you burn out. And this is like a new concept of following the system and habits, but using a small amount of willpower to change your brain chemistry so you can get motivated to do those habits. It's like the best of both worlds. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. That's the end of the video.